everybody! So today I'm going to be doing my February book haul. I know it's like mid-March now, but I didn't get around to filming it in February, so I'm doing it now. So I only have like 5 normal books in this book haul, but I also have a couple of kind of antique books to show you, books that were printed back in like the early 1900s, so I thought that would be pretty interesting. But first I'm going to start with the normal books printed in this decade. So the first 2 books I got from Book Depository. First one is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. You guys know that I loved this book last year. It was my all-time favorite read of 2016, and I had like this really beat up copy that was like belonged to probably like 5 other people before it belonged to me, and I saw this edition of Rebecca on Emily Boone's channel. I'll leave a link to her channel in the description box. You should definitely go check her out. So she told me she got it from Book Depository, and I was straight onto that website and I immediately bought it. Of course I couldn't just get one book, I had to pick up at least one other one. So I got Don't Look Now by Daphne du Maurier, which is a collection of short stories. I really want to start reading more by this author because I did like Rebecca so much and I love her writing, so hopefully this will be just as good. And these next 3 books I all got from my library book sale that you guys know I go to every single year. So the first 2 is A Great and Terrible Beauty and Rebel Angels by Libba Bray. Don't really know what these books are about. I think they're kind of like a historical fiction that has like paranormal or like supernatural stuff going on, but I really like the covers and I've never read anything by Libba Bray, so I figured for $1 I might as well pick them up. And then I also found Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. You guys know that I've been really interested in reading all of the Mortal Instruments and Infernal Devices books. I figured I'd pick it up for $1 now and save myself a bunch of money later when I read the series. But I really like these covers. I like them a lot better than the Mortal Instruments series. Okay, so it is now like a week later, and since I filmed my February haul so late in March, I already went to the March book haul and I found 4 more books, so I figured I'll include them in this haul. So the first book I found is Twilight the Graphic Novel Volume 1. I'm not really sure why I picked this up because I really don't like graphic novels. I find them very confusing to keep up with, but I figured since I was already familiar with this story, it would be a little bit easier to follow. And I did already read it, and I was right. I did understand this a lot more than a lot of the other graphic novels that I've read. But I'll speak more about this in my March wrap-up. The next book I found was The Creeping by Alexandra Sirowy. I'm definitely not pronouncing that correctly. And it wasn't until I got home that I realized that this is actually an ARC copy. So I'm probably going to end up unhauling this just because I don't really want to read an ARC when I don't need to. When I do want to read this book, I'll probably just get it from the library. I'm not really sure what this book is about. I believe it's about these 2 girls who go missing and one of them comes back, and then the book takes place 11 years later and something is happening. I don't really know. Then I found Emma by Jane Austen. I have not ever read a Jane Austen book, but I own 4 of them now, so I should probably get around to reading them. But this is like a really pretty edition and it's almost brand new. I also don't know what that book is about. But then the last book that I picked up was Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. I read this in 2016 and this was like one of my favorite books that I had read that year. It's not in the greatest condition, but it's okay for $1, which is what I picked it up for. Also for $1, I found season 1 of Land of the Lost, so that was a pretty good find. Anywho, back to me from the past. So now moving on to these sort of old antique kind of books. I got these all from my grandpa. We've been going through his like attic and everything. He's got a lot of old collected stuff. So we found a bunch of these very old books. And I love old books. They're going to look so nice on my bookshelves when I get like a proper library. Unfortunately, I've completely run out of room on my shelves, so everything just looks horrific. So the first book is Masterpieces from Dickens. So I imagine this is like a collection of Charles Dickens stories. So this is what the cover looks like. In the pages, it's a really tiny book. So this one doesn't actually say when it was printed, but there's a piece of paper taped to the inside which says that this book was presented to my great-grandmother for attendance, so I imagine she had like perfect or really good attendance in Sunday school in 1902 to 1903, so this must have been printed around that time. I think that's really cool that this belonged to my great-grandmother, and I think it's such a cute little book. Then I have these 2 books, which are volumes of Edgar Allan Poe. So there's volume 8 and then volume 9. I don't know where all the other volumes are, but they're just like blank books, but they do have deckled edges, which I really like. And these books were printed in 1902, I believe, so that's also really cool. And I think I'm going to save my favorite one for last. So this next one is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and Merry Men and a couple of other fables by Robert Louis Stevenson. And this one was printed in 1909, I think. I'm not 100% sure if I'm reading the right things, but these have to be like over 100 years old. Okay, and then the final one is definitely my favorite. I'm a little bit worried that I just put these all on my lap because I honestly don't know what things have been living in them while they've been up in my grandpa's attic. But this one is Andersen's Fairy Tales, and at the bottom it says the Royal Fairy Library, and this just has a beautiful cover. The pages are of course a bit yellowy brown, and then there's like an image embossed on the back of a bird, and it has lovely end pages. And this one was also given to my great-grandmother. I can't read what the message is though, so I don't know what it was for. And I can't find a date in this one from when it was printed, but it was probably around the same time as those other ones. But this also has really nice illustrations in it. So yeah, that is my February book haul. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! So today I am going to be doing my February/March TBR. That's not what I'm doing, but I really like the colors. Nope.